Welcome back to the Rowdy Studios. I am Buzz Cutler. This is Bassmasters. We're going to talk a little NASCAR racing. Specifically, we're going to talk NASCAR racing at Kansas Speedway. Specifically, we're going to be talking Carl Edwards NASCAR racing at Kansas Speedway. And coming away with a top 5 finish. How in the hell did Carl Edwards find his way into the top 5?
I don't know, but he knew early on, starting on the outside of the front row, he drove down there into turn 1, and he knew something was wrong.
I was like, man, this is not good. I thought, well, maybe it'll be better next lap, and then it wasn't. So I'd say this second lap, I realized that we were in a little bit of trouble.
But Carl Edwards has to be very pleased. Being a lap down, I think he said he might have been 2 laps down at one point. I'm not sure he was, but he was at least 1 lap down, got the lucky dog at least one time, and came back to finish 5th with that car. I mean, that's what you have to do if you're Carl Edwards. You just have to stay within shouting distance. Look, he's more than within shouting distance. He's the points leader right now.
But here's the thing, Baz. Everybody is lauding him for taking a bad car 2 weeks in a row and getting a good finish out of it. And I understand that's laudable, but shouldn't we be concerned that he had a bad car 2 weeks in a row?
I'll tell you what it is. It's like taking a sack. It's like sometimes you take a sack because it's the smart play. Now, this wasn't quite that bad, right? Or sometimes maybe you got to punt it because it's a smart play. Carl Edwards was not in a winning race car.
2 weeks in a row he was
Well,
off.
I think at Dover he was in a winning race car. He just had a speeding penalty.
Okay,
so he had the speed. He has not had the consistent speed that, say, Jimmy Johnson has. Nobody else has. But Carl Edwards is hanging in there and staying close. Still has to find that consistent speed. That's why Charlotte's real important to him. He's got to have a good run at Charlotte. Talladega now becomes critical not to have a problem there because I'm not sure he's got the speed to overcome it. So Carl Edwards did what he had to do, and that means he's the points leader. So after 4 races, you're the points leader. You're doing something right, and that was another example.
Well, and you gotta figure that Carl Edwards really needs to stay in it on these downforce tracks because not only is there Talladega coming up, but Martinsville, you got to give the nod to Jimmy Johnson over Carl Edwards. Phoenix, you probably
so.
give the nod to Jimmy Johnson over Carl Edwards,
Right.
although Phoenix is a little bit of a question mark. So if Carl Edwards can't stay ahead of Jimmy Johnson on these downforce tracks, he's screwed.
Well, he said it, and he's exactly right. I mean, his philosophy is exactly right. Stay close, stay consistent, don't have any big mess-ups until you get to 2-3 races to go, and then go for it. And I think that's the position that he's in. Stay close enough. See what shakes out. Don't make any big mistakes. Stay close enough. And then if you've got to really take some chances and go crazy in the last couple of races because you need to catch somebody, at least you know what the situation is. You start taking crazy risks now, I think you're going to put yourself in a hole.
If Jimmy Johnson doesn't win this championship, do you think Carl Edwards is the most likely guy to knock him off the throne?
I would probably say yes, although, as you say, the speed he lacked at Kansas for most of the race has to be a big concern. I'd say Kevin and Carl are the 2 guys you got to look at.
And Brad, you're not thinking is in the conversation.
Boy, I tell you, it's hard to leave Brad Keselowski out. And the only reason you do is because he's so young. But maybe that's not a good enough reason. I mean, that guy ran 3rd. He ran better than Kevin and Carl yesterday.
Indeed he did. All right, that's Bassmasters. I'm Buzz Cutler, and that's our take on Carl Edwards at Kansas Speedway. Come back. Watch more video, won't you?
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.